Hey! I'm starting in like 3 minutes. Can you guys hear me? I wonder. And we'll see how non-glitchy this is. Okay. Gonna just try a few things, get final setup. Ah, good. The sound, the music's not too loud, is it? Because I'm gonna be talking a lot. Okay. Pop this out. Looks like everything's going good. How's it going, everyone? I'm so new to this, so be gentle with me. The streaming part, the ZBrush part, I know. We're going to have some fun with the ZBrush part, but the streaming part is new to me. So I'm going to say lots of dumb stuff, but I'll try to answer your questions as we go along. And if I don't, then just keep yelling, hey Matt, you're doing it wrong. And I'll eventually get to your answers. Just trying to get the final setup here. Also, my computer is really slow, so if it starts glitching out, I apologize. We're working on that. We're getting that. Anyways, let's open up ZBrush, not Adobe Acrobat. Okay. I'm actually gonna kill these things too. Hey! Okay. Thanks, Ashley. I feel better. Whew. This is terrifying. Okay. So, I'm Matt. Where do I look? Do I look right there, or do I look here? Which, there's nothing here, but I feel more comfortable looking here. But anyway. ZBrush finally loads. No, we don't want that. We're gonna start with the ZSphere today. Good old-fashioned ZSphere. So what I want to do, I'll introduce myself first for those of you who may not know me. I'm the red beard, which is here, but I've also got pink hair, which I just felt like I was. Looks awful from an app. Oh man. Okay. Anyways, I've got pink hair. Felt like I was too normal for a little while, so needed to switch that up. Ooh, yeah, I could just show you some of the stuff that I've done to kind of get things going here. I've been a ZBrush artist for many years. Let's get out of this. And I worked at Disney Infinity or Disney Interactive for a spell, working on these great Disney Interactive or Disney Infinity characters. Here's one. I've also I teach my own Gumroad courses as well, so there's a few and I've also printed each one that I've made. Ah, yes. And then this one, the Eevee one. And I'm working on getting the last one that I did printed. But anyways, here's a few of the stuff that I've made in the past, or here. I was very fortunate to work at Disney Interactive at the peak of the super coolness. So I've made characters from a lot of different Disney properties that I've loved and grew up with. I also like to mess around. This is one that I did with Brett Bean. So basically, yeah, Prince. Hey, thanks for buying the tutorial. But it's something that I've loved, and I keep trying to learn more about ZBrush, not just ZBrush, but specifically character design. It's something that I've studied. Specifically is just 2D character design. I've got a few books that have just been my Bibles. They're Tom Bancroft. Right now, my room is in disarray. We're remodeling a bunch of the house right now. But Moana, who never got to see the light of day. Thank you so much, guys. And now, I guess now that I'm not at Disney Interactive, I actually left and I got a job before they closed, which is a little bittersweet because that team, the Disney Interactive team, was the coolest of cool people that worked there. And it was just awesome to be a part of them. And then when they closed after I left, that was just heartbreaking. But I I went and I met this company called Chair, and they're awesome. These guys are just like the coolest. And so they've given me the opportunity to work on a brand new project, a new IP, an original idea called Spy Jinx. Something that they've partnered with Bad Robot and J.J. Abrams to develop this idea. So I've been on the character design ground floor with them. So it's been awesome. Like they're just the coolest thing. It's just the coolest project and super cool to be a part of. Anyways, I should stop talking because I'm going to be talking a lot tonight. And so let's get into ZBrush. And so with ZBrush, like I was trying to think of what I should do tonight. Oh, what are the character design books that you were saying? Okay, let me grab them. Because there's, oh my goodness. Where are they? Okay, the character design books, as I'm talking about, they're never next to me. They are the Tom Bancroft character. I think he's got two. One's characters in action and one is character design. Tom Bancroft, if you don't know who he is he's one of the original animators on a lot of Disney feature films such as Mulan and Pocahontas and even back with like Roger Rabbit with back in the day. He was one of the original animators, like designed Mushu. And so he wrote this book like completely on character design. It was just mind-blowing. Like he goes in depths of character design theory, shape language, rhythm and flow. It's like everything you want to know about character design. And I just think it's all 2D driven, but it's something that I really push into my 3D stuff. So, it's that one. There's, man, where are my books? Next time I'm gonna have my books ready. And so I was thinking about what I wanted to do because I wanted to make something that was printable. And I got this idea like, yeah, I'm gonna do this super cool. This is something I was sketching up last night. Make this cool roller derby chick. Hey, Russia, yes, awesome. And as I sketched it, I'm like, as soon as I finished it, I was like, oh yeah, she's got all this attitude, exactly what I want to do. And then, like 5 seconds after I left the computer, I'm like, you know what? I have seen this character, not this exact character, but this body design a billion times. And so, mainly I wanted to do something different, which, of course, when I'm live streaming, that's when you want to do something different that you haven't really tried before. So I took 10 minutes and I sketched this dude out. And the goal is that I do want to print this crocodile sketch. And so I sketched it out. It's got some really good flow into it, and I want to print it out to feel like he's jumping and doing a kickflip on this skateboard, but not. So there's a lot of mystery of like, can I get that balance to work? Can I get this like to read as this character that I want? And I'll probably I might or may not add clothes to him. I don't think I do. Maybe a hat. But really I'm going to be focusing on a lot of straights. Ooh, that's great. Mainly I'm going to be focusing on a lot of straights versus curves. You'll see straights versus curves here. You'll see a lot of, rhythm and flow, trying to get a full gesture. Hey, how's it going? So we'll see how this goes. I'm also going to do a new sculpting technique that I haven't tried before. So, yes. Just genius moves all around. Let's kill this out real quick. Don't save. Okay. ZBrush. And so I'm going to try this new technique out where I don't do anything like once I start sculpting, I'm not going to do anything in symmetry. And the whole reason behind this is, I'm just going to ramble on for a little bit before I get going. So, yes. Anyways, I'm not going to do anything in symmetry. I'm going to build this character out in ZSpheres very, very quickly, and then once I accept that mesh, that's going to be the end of my symmetry. And the reason why I'm going to try it this way, and this is when I went to CTN, the animation conference in Burbank, I met my idol there, who is Kent Milton. And if you guys don't know Kent Milton, know who Kent Milton is, because he is a god. He is the best of the best traditional sculptors out there. He sculpted all the original maquettes for the Disney feature films. He's gone on to do stuff at Leica and did all the maquettes for Kubo and for I think he worked on Box Trolls as well, and like his stuff is just ridiculously good, and he's got such a good way to show his just life in his characters. So I got to talk with him for like 30 minutes when no one was around him for some reason. It was like this, like the Red Sea parted and I was there. And so I showed him my stuff and I cried a little bit. I get really emotional. That's something that I do. Hey, how's it going? And he's like, oh man, your stuff's good. He's probably being really nice, and he said, yeah, your stuff's good. And he's like, something that you could try that most digital sculptors don't is try to not sculpt in symmetry. Try to find the life by sculpting both sides, sculpting both ways, and then you'll find that you'll like one side more than the other, and then you can kind of course correct along the way, and you'll have more personality. So I'm going to try that. We'll see how far it goes. I always get out of symmetry when I finish up a project to do some asymmetry stuff, but I very rarely start from the beginning that way. What Cintiq model am I using? This is the 27-inch non-touch Cintiq. I tried the touch Cintiq and I hated it. It got so buggy inside ZBrush and other softwares. And it just, I don't know, I run everything off a Mac as well. And so it was just bad. Like I wanted to turn off all the touch settings and it just was so horrible. So I just went for the non-touch model. This is hard on my eyes. So we'll see if I can even do it. Anyways, I love this Cintiq. It's great. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually gonna put up my reference here. This is just with Lightbox, or not Lightbox. Lightbox. And this is a cool feature that, if I can remember how to do this, let's see. Undo. Let's see. I remember the command in. Maybe it's intensity or hue? Nope. I'm trying to erase this stuff. Kent Milton. Yes, Christopher knows. Yeah, he is amazing. Not working the way I want. Of course it's not working. Let's try one more thing, and then I'm going to give up. Oh, man. Control-Alt-Drag. That's what I was doing. Control-Alt-Drag. It's not working on my computer for some reason right now. I wonder if that's because I have a ZSphere up. Let's keep it... Let's keep this up and we'll just kill the opacity on it. Thanks, Shane. Shane's the man. Shane's the man who I learned this from. So Shane is one of the dudes that I worked with at he's one of the awesome dudes that I worked with at Disney Interactive, and he's just a stud. Just a stud. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just rough in some of this stuff. And try to kind of build out some of this. And oops. And if this music starts getting really creepy, let me know and I'll change it. This isn't my music. I mean, I love a good creepy music. Do I have paint selected? Maybe I didn't have paint selected. Shane knows all. Right, intensity, paint. Oh, is it paint? Aha! Shano! Of course it is. It's paint, not intensity. Durr. Okay. So by holding Control and Alt and dragging, once you're on paint, not intensity, then that you can just click and drag and it kills whatever color you're on. And you hit Z, make it go away, make sure you go to samples. This is important. Oh, I guess once I have Geo, I have to remember to turn that off. Okay. And I'm not worried too much about shape at this point. I just want the overall like length. Keeping in mind that like this is where I kind of need to find the balance of things. And so once like I've got this is the tail that's going to be on the ground, and I kind of want that like that gecko fat tail hanging on the ground. And I'm just tapping to fill in. Whoops. Tapping to fill in more areas so that I can start like getting more curvature in there. And you'll quickly find out that unlike all the awesome streamers that are on here, I am not a speed sculptor. I like to noodle around and kind of figure things out. Hey, Super Ghost. We'll see if that's a rad gator in the end. Skater gator. What? So as much as I would love to be a skater, like a speed sculptor, it's just I love to noodle. I want to give like some good girth here. This is weird music. Do I start more traditionally? Let me just change this music. I can't think. This is horrible. What is this? It's great. Hey Matt, do you start more traditionally or digital with your medium first? With this, I've come to like sculpting digital or drawing digitally first, and even sculpting digitally. I wish I had time to do more traditional sculpting. I have been making more time to do more drawing traditionally, as I'm finding that I'm kind of a better artist when I draw traditionally and then move into digitally. I don't know if that's the same with everyone, but after, if you guys know who Brett Bean is, he's the guy that I did this with. Yeah, this is still bizarre. Like, what's with this music? Anyways, Robo Wheels doing well. So it's, anyways, I was talking about I keep jumping around. I'm ADD, so trying to keep, I want this flat. Anyways, I try to start off, keep it more traditional, because I was hanging out with Brett Bean and we did like a draw night, and that's super intimidating first off, when you're drawing with, like, he's one of the best illustrators out there, and you know, he gave me some really good tips as I was drawing. I brought out my Surface Pro and I was like, yeah, I'm super cool in my Surface Pro. And he's like, just try drawing traditionally. And then I did. And I found that I like the roughness. I like the fun, the kind of the accidental, the happy mistakes that you can make, that you kind of undo when you're drawing digitally. You know, you can do happy mistakes in ZBrush. ZBrush is a lot more organic, I think, than maybe Photoshop is. Though I still love sketching in Photoshop. This is so weird music. Let's just... Okay, let's try this one last time. I just want instrumental, that's all I want. Ooh. So let's keep going here, and try to find, I'm just going to try to push this a little bit more. Maybe get this a little bit higher. I did recently just buy my first 3D printer for myself, and I'm very excited about that. Give some twists to this. So the overall things that I want to focus on this, twisting the wrong way, are, I want motion for one. And then I want his personality, which I'll try to nail out. Like, again, I'm not the best drawer out there. And so, like, this is just an idea. Like, I know what I want in my head, but this is probably not going to be super close. I mean, it'll have the same feel, but my sketches are so bad that like I can't get that final concept. My wife. Start drawing those arms on there, the shoulders. Oops. Oh, I've got questions here. Okay, so it says, yes, I need some recommendations on some good playlists on YouTube for the royalty free. That'd be great. But I can't play YouTube because it would definitely crash my computer while doing this. Oh, which printer did I get? So I got the Prusa i3, which is not, it's not the Form 2. I would love the Form 2, without a doubt. That is the really, like, I would love the Form 2. It's probably the closest to what we were using at Disney that is affordable. And it's not the Zortrax, which I really hyped to our team, which turned out to be, it was a fine machine, but it just was so buggy that but so I got the Prusa i3, and it's actually, as far as like printers go, it's the highest rated printer consumer, the highest rated consumer printer based off quality and cost. And if I got the here, we got a twist. See, right now I'm starting to think of like tilts. So I want this arm lower because I want it to be opposite of his shoulders. You've got this diagonal and this diagonal, so this hip will be up and this hip will be down. Anyway, so the Prusa is the highest rated printer, just above the Form 2 because of cost and quality. So it's not as good quality. It's not nearly as good quality as the Form 2. But as far as cost goes, it's super comparable, and the quality is not going to be super. It's going to be different, but it's not going to be crazy different. And again, I'm still, even if in this phase, I'm thinking about straights versus curves. So like, you'll have the curve on the top of the forearm, flat on the inside. So I hope that makes sense. Ooh, is that the same price as the mono price maker? I think, I don't know if it is. I checked out one of the mono prices and I heard there was some bugginess issues with it, but that was with their small one. I think it was their $200 one. And I ended up getting the it was $700 when it was all said and done, for the Prusa. Yes, I'm going to give you the link right here. Or not, maybe I am going to give you the link. Look at this technology. This is exactly what I got, and it's a kit, so it's instant savings. I've got to build it myself, which I'm actually excited about. Yes, this damn game, he knows it. I'm actually excited to build it myself, so I can learn the printer inside and out. I'm really quite anal about things. Like Shane can testify to that. As like I need to know everything about the printer so I know how to make it work. Yeah, and it's a good price, and the real kicker, like if I'm just gonna give balls for these hands. The real kicker of getting the Prusa versus the Form 2 is...
Dad.
Hey, Sully.
Hey, I got some chicken.
You got some chicken? Oh, good.
And I have food.
Come here and say hi to everyone. Come here and say hi. Oh. Okay, look into that camera. This is my almost 3-year-old Sully. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Okay. Okay, now go get in the shower.
Oh, I did want my hands.
Oh, okay. Good.
And I do have.
Okay.
I did see my. I don't want it.
Good. Okay. No beard. Where did his beard go? Anyways, it's as Bristlebane said, like the cost per print is dollars. You know, it's pennies on the dollar compared to cost per print on the Form 2. Actually. So if we're doing hips, I always kind of make these, you know, try to get it as close as I can. He is squishy. Also, I've got 3 kids. They will most likely be in every stream that I do because they are here. But they're awesome. Do I always start from ZSpheres? No, I used to. I used to really always start with ZSpheres, and then they came out with the Q mesh brush, and I found that like inserting primitives is super fast, and easy. So I've gone from doing ZSpheres to doing insert primitives. So I just do squares, spheres, working on those squares, and I block everything in with simple primitives, and they're all separate subtools too. So I have complete control over what I'm doing. So this is actually very rare that I do this, but because I'm going to sculpt this from the pose pretty much, which I'm still going to break things up. Like I'll still cut the arms off and the legs off. But I want to get the pose mostly right, at least semi-right. Yes, Jubila, you're awesome. Idiots. This is very. It's awesome right now. Hopefully we'll actually make it awesome. The fun part of doing this is you kind of have complete freedom to change anything you want up. You know, it's really easy. It's like just building your own mannequin and doing whatever you want with it. You know, time to raise this hip up a little bit, and maybe, you know, where I fault in 3D, I can actually I can enhance, or where I fault in 2D, I can enhance in 3D because, you know, I know the proportions and I can start thinking about the twists and the turns. You know, maybe pushing him off this way a little bit. I do have to kind of think about the balance because I am going to print this. That's like the end goal, is I want this printable. So like the head's now like maybe a little too far out. So let's bring. Do a scale here. Whoops. Oh, there's a print quality. I still use the JA Cup brush all the time. I love that brush. That is a brush that Ian Jacobs made. It is the best brush to start, quick doodling. Not trying to plug my own crap. Here's that's probably great. I want to look at it. Oh, sweet. See, like, this quality of the Form 2, like, I know I'm not going to get this quality, especially the thinnesses. I'm not going to get. I guess I could pull this over here. No, I can't. Never mind. That's awesome, Bristlebane. Like, Andrew. Ah, Andrew. I know your stuff. Anyways, I know I'm not going to get this quality, especially in the thinness, but for prototyping stuff, it'll get me, 80-90% of the way. And then, because I do have some plans, this is top secret, don't let anyone know. I do have plans to work on something cool where I'll be needing to do a lot of prototyping. Ooh, and save. My goodness, I can't believe it's save. More messages below. I'll be here for 3 hours, so this will be like, hopefully I'll be done with this the next few minutes. It's getting there. I just want to push some of the proportions a little bit more. I like the idea that he kind of has his tail goes thin to really thick, like a gecko. And as I'm now getting into more of the detail, I can start kind of finessing the overall gesture. And this is why I'm not a speed sculptor, by the way, is get him leaning out just a little bit. So we're finding that balance of he's going to be leaning this way, and I've got to kick him out this way. And if he's going to be pushed out this way a little bit, got to be pushed back this way. Yeah, so Disc Jam, if you're looking to do a 3D print, there's a place called 3D Hubs, which is basically like a community of 3D printers. And I've used them, and I've had some bad experiences. I've had some good experiences, but at least they can be really cheap. Like I had this guy printed on a Zortrax at a 3D Hub printer, and that turned out okay. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad, but for I think this guy was $20 to print him. Not bad. This guy was also printed. This guy turned out, I got him for free because they messed up on my print. But compared to something like this that was printed on our $80,000 Envision Tech printer at Disney, don't tell anyone. This quality is unbeatable, even from the Form 2. winging this body out a little bit and swinging it back. What is this music? I'm not going to worry about it. If anyone starts crying from the music, I apologize. Shapeways is pretty. They do really good printing services, but they're kind of good. Or, I mean, they're kind of pricey, as Bristledane said. But this 3D hubs. But you have to know what kind of printer you want. You have different options there. You can choose like a Form 2 or a filament-based printer, which isn't going to be as high quality, but will be cheaper. And as far... Let's see. Move this up just a little bit. And this shoulder's got to go back. Kind of pinching his shoulder blades. And the fun thing about doing like a character like this is you kind of get to learn new types of anatomy, which is always fun. Okay, so this is as far as I'm going to take this part. Now I'm going to translate it into, I'm going to make this an actual mesh. If I go to adaptive skin, let's hit preview, let's see where this is at. This is perfect probably for what I want to do. I'm actually going to break this up at this point, but see preview, you can toggle it on by hitting A. And can you tell us about your history? My history? Yes. Get ready to live. Preview. Let's make an adaptive skin. Let's get out of this horrible shader. I hate the red wax or the red whatever shader that is. I hate it so much. Do a quick save again. Oh, this pen cancel. End the new deal. Now we'll save. Ah, saving for me. Yeah, so... Oh, thanks. Thanks, Chroma. Is that how you say Chroma? I'm guessing it's Chroma. So, my history is, I initially... I was always an artist. Turn off brush spotlight samples or nothing will work right. So I've always been an artist. And I didn't really know what to do with that. As I didn't really think I didn't think I could be an animator because I didn't think I was that good, especially at animation stuff. And I didn't think I could I just didn't think there was any other jobs other than that. Like, I think it barely occurred to me that yes, red wax equals hives. A Turkish prison. No? I gotta autograph those. And so I, went along living my life. Let's split these hidden. Oh, am I on the wrong one? Oh, why can't I split hidden? Oh, there's subtool, there's subdivisions. Okay, split hidden. Anyways, then I went and I saw The Incredibles. And I was already a huge Brad Bird fan because of The Iron Giant, which is my favorite animated film of all time. Love the Iron Giant. There, you can't see it. Anyways, I've got lots of Iron Giant paraphernalia. Let's do a quick ZRemesh of this. And for some reason, watching The Incredibles, like, it hit me that, like, the character design stuff that I've loved could actually work in 3D, which I thought that they pulled off so well. If anyone can get redbacks, yes, get a band. So that's blasphemy. Why all the hate over the redbacks? The red wax is the absolute worst. There's no detail. Let's go into the red wax for a bit. There's just no appeal to the red wax at all. There's just nothing good to it. Like, it doesn't do anything pleasing for your model. It is just, it's just horrible. But these ZBrush materials, so nice. I love all those. Yes. The red wax is just, it's the absolute worst of the worst. Anyways, to continue on my story of where I saw this thing, and then I went to school. I'm like, I know what I'm gonna do to school. Like, I was in Spain at the time when we saw The Incredibles. I was serving a mission for my church at that time in another life. And so when I got back home from Spain, after 2 years in Spain, I went... Here, actually, I want to cut this head off too. No. I got back and I'm like, I'm going to go to school and learn how to be an animator. Learn how to design characters in 3D. And then I got... And then I got to my first 3D class after I got in school, and they said, "You're welcome to your 3D animation major. You won't be learning 3D for 2 years. You have to do all these generals and whatnot." And I was like, okay. And I got super deflated over it. And I actually ended up... doing one semester and saying, this is dumb. I don't like this. I'm not having any fun. I'm not going to be doing what I want for years. And even then, I'm going to be doing it 1 hour a day for, being taught 1 hour a day for weeks. And so... And so I was like, well, what can I do? I guess I could do graphic design. So I taught myself graphic design, went and got a job at a graphic design company where we made logos, brochures, websites. I ended up teaching myself code. So I became a coder for the websites after I designed them. I kind of did everything. Hey, how's it going, Dan? And after that, it was awesome. Like I could have done that forever. I was good at it, and it was mostly fun, but it really wasn't what I wanted to do. And I did that for 5 years. I was a graphic designer for 5 years. And it was cool and all, but I ran into a problem. Well, I didn't run into any problem. I still always wanted to be a 3D artist. I wanted to make characters for movies. I wanted to make characters for games. This is something that it just was still always inside me, but I didn't know how I could do it because the traditional way of getting there just didn't seem like it fit in my life. Like, so, what happened is their school opened up in Seattle, and give him this. I like this idea. He's got this big underbite. A school opened up in Seattle that taught ZBrush, taught this thing called ZBrush, which I had never heard of before. And I sucked when I tried to learn Maya on my own. I sucked at it. Maya was like the worst. Like, why is this what artists are using to make things in? I hated Maya. I didn't get it. I didn't get how people could get it. So I just kept to doing graphic design because I was good at it and it was fun. I'm making some really yucky geometry, which I will fix. I promise. Don't judge me. Hidden. We'll come back to that. Anyway, so I just didn't know what I could do. And then the school came along that taught ZBrush in Seattle, and I was married. I've been married for a couple of years, and we had a house. We had just bought a house actually, and I was like, I don't know. And I had a full-time job, and the school was 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and they just taught you 3D. They taught you ZBrush, they taught you Maya, they taught you Max by professionals, by people in the industry. People from Valve came in and taught lessons. People from Zombie Studios came in and taught lessons. Like, it was awesome. And so my wife was awesome enough, and we made it work. She's like, this is what you want to do, right? I'm like, yeah. And so she's like, okay, we will make it work. And so that's what happened. Is we made it work, and I worked my butt off. I worked every single day for 8 hours, and then I'd get home. I'd ride my bike home in the rain, and I would get home and I would sculpt some more because I didn't have. Oh, also we got pregnant, so my first son was on the way. It was called the school was called the 3D Training Academy. It no longer exists. It was around for 3 semesters. I was in the second semester, and then they imploded. Like, the owner of it destroyed it. He just got kind of greedy, took advantage of some of the students. Not in that way, but took advantage of some of the students. And hey, Seahawks, yes! And it was perfect when I was there. The semester, like the 9 months that I was there, it was awesome. It couldn't have been better. And then when I left, it went to shit. Excuse my language. Oh, excuse my language. And let's to clean up this. See this yucky stuff that I have? I'm going to clean this up. Let me finish my story, and then we'll go. And so I hit it real hard, and then he wanted me to stay, and the teacher there, or the owner of that school, wanted me to stay. I said, no, I'm going to go back to Utah because there's lots of industry jobs in Utah. There's like 4 studios in Utah. And it was awesome. I love Seattle. I wish I would, if there's any other place that I would live other than Utah, it would be Seattle for sure. But I came back because my wife was here, my family's here. We were just about to have a baby, so I went back. I got a job at this. It was literally in the garage of an abandoned Dollar Tree. And we worked on the worst, dumbest games. These little iPhone games. And I did everything. You name it. I did graphic design for them. I did UI for them. I made their website. It's still their website today. Anyways, but I worked like a madman there, but nothing was gonna help my portfolio at that point. I knew I wanted to work for Disney because that was the cool studio in Salt Lake. But nothing that I was working on at that company, it was called React Games. They're still around. And they're actually doing way better than they were now. They're anyways, okay, so I worked at React Games, not doing anything to help my portfolio for a solid year. Let me do this. So what I'm gonna do to get rid of this funky geo, because I can't get a clean close hole, I'm just gonna ZRemesh it. But first, in deformation, by going over to features, clicking this little circle here, and then, I just want. Let's see if I can get that better. Just close it up just a little bit. It does a polish where it kind of unifies the open loop. And now I can run a ZRemesh. I'm going to just inflate that just a little bit too. Bring it back out. And then just do a ZRemesh. Low poly. I stay really, really low until I'm just about ready to finish it off. So now I've got clean topo at the top there. And I can just do a close hole. Oh, let's see. That's a bummer. I wish, yes. Yeah. Awesome. Was there anything going on in Seattle wise of character guy here as well? There's a lot of cool stuff in Seattle. Like, I don't know if they have the school there anymore. Well, I know they don't have the school, but if there's anything like that, I don't know. Matt, but you finished them. That's the key. Like John. Oh yeah, yeah. Like, but they were finished. Like, we did all these things and these horrible games, and they were finished. And they went on. You know, they went to my bucket of like doing lots of experience and working in that kind of setting. But it was kind of, it was going to be horrible. So I made a decision when I was working with them that every second that I wasn't going to be at their studio, I would be working on my portfolio at home. So I would go home and I would sculpt characters that, you know, would actually get me somewhere to where I wanted, because that just wasn't going to happen at React Games. No matter, you know, it just wasn't going to happen, so I had to kind of make the opportunity myself. And so I did. And so I sculpted a bunch of stuff just for my portfolio, and lo and behold, I get a call from this guy at Disney after I submitted an application saying he wanted me to apply for a job at Disney, and I did, and somehow they let me on the team, and they put up with me for a good long while, and it was awesome. Like, that was awesome. Like, I loved working with that team. They were so cool. Every single guy was just an all-star. Chris Wright, who was the lead at the time, kind of helped me out. Oh no, damn you. Okay, let's see. Well, let's load it back up. Chris Wright, who was the character lead at the time, really did a lot to help me out. Dang, I just lost a ton. Okay, well, we'll get some of this back. Okay, where do we lose? Ugh, okay, load. I'm loading the wrong one. Aha! there is a problem. I don't know why it happens, but sometimes when you split hidden and then touch it, it freaks out and then you lose everything. I don't know why that happens. I know, save. So I worked at Disney for 3 years, had a blast, made people really uncomfortable. Oh, hey there. This is my oldest son. Look into that camera, people are watching. You want to wave? He's an artist too. Thanks, bud. You going to bed?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good night.
See you in the morning.
Ah, we'll see you in the morning.
Good night, I love you.
I love you.
I'm turning off the light.
Hey, no, you don't have to turn off the light.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm turning off the light.
Thanks, bud.
Bye, bye.
Bye-bye.
Dad, what are you making?
I'm making shapes. Making a crocodile, this guy. Whoa.
This is not in the project.
I know he's skateboarding. Whoa. Okay, rename this Leggies. Okay.
Bye.
Anyways. He's awesome. That's easy. He is a way better artist than I'll ever be. He's super cool too. So, after 3 years of working at Disney, kind of felt like that was my time. That I had kind of do what I wanted to do, and it was time to just try something else to put me out of my comfort zone. I do that a ton. I try to sculpt things that I don't know how to do, such as this, in ways that I don't know how to do them, such as this. And I try to get myself out of my own comfort zone quite a bit. So it was time to try something new because I love Disney, but it was just I knew kind of the formula for it. And I wanted to push myself a little bit more to do something that I hadn't done. And that's when I kind of was contacted and approached by Chair Entertainment, and the rest is kind of history. Now I've been there for a year, and it's great. There's just a bunch of studs that work there too, so I've been really fortunate to be able to surround myself. Oh, I love you. To surround myself with people that I can grow and learn from, and they're just awesome. So, anyways, I feel you. I mod games and break them and crash them. Yeah. I wish, and part of it, I don't know if it's ZBrush. I think part of it is I'm running a 4-year-old Mac Mini, and sometimes it just can't handle the awesomeness of ZBrush. I'm gonna bring these down as they look weird. Yeah, I want to get Easy. His name is Easy, by the way. I've got 3 boys. Easy's the oldest. He's 5.5. I've got the almost 3-year-old who you also saw. That's Sullivan, from Monsters Inc. Because obviously we like Disney. And our youngest is Moses, who's also a stud. He's like the most chill kid. He just turned 1 this week on Monday. Mac PC, myself, NVIDIA, no Mac, no offense. You know what? I've just decided, and don't tell anyone, that I'm actually going to buy my first. I've been a Mac guy my whole life. My family, not just me, but my whole family, we've never owned anything but Mac computers. From Mac, I think we bought the Apple or the Macintosh, or Macintosh 1 or Macintosh 2 or whatever. Yeah. And that's the only computer we've ever had. At work I work at a studio, and at work we use PCs. We've always used PCs, except for when I was a graphic designer, when they only used Macs. Back in the day when Apple used to cater to the designers. So, I don't know. Like, I've always liked the look. I love. It's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of a fanboy type of thing. Like, I like the way they looked. I like the way they felt. I grew up on them. So I've just decided that I'm going to build my own PC. Actually, building is exaggerating. I am going to either have the IT guy at work help. He's going to build my PC, and I will pick the components and the parts, or I'm just going to buy one from like Digital Storm, because this isn't worth it. It's so slow, and I've had so many issues with it, and they're just not. I mean, they've updated this computer once since I bought this, like the Mac Mini, and it's still like the newest Mac Mini is 2.5 years old. Trackpads. These are great trackpads, though. I'll give you that, but they are kind of overpriced. So I'm looking at Digital Storm to kind of just have the cool thing. I know it's going to be more expensive if I build it myself, but they do have some warranties to them, and the comfort that it was built right is also appealing to me. So if anyone has recommends of don't buy Digital Storm, go here, and they know what they're doing, that would also be helpful. So earlier I talked about this jaw cut brush, and this is again a guy that I worked with at Disney, Ian Jacobs. He's a phenomenal artist. He came up with this brush, and I've used it to really block in big harsh shapes, like big edges. It's awesome. Buy a custom made one on eBay. I did that and saved hundreds. It does? eBay, huh? Sweet. Oh, what is this? PC. Oh. Tiger Direct. Okay. Yeah, that's the scary thing. I don't know if the parts are compatible. That's the hard thing for me is it's such a new area. Buy a Mac, you pick your components, and there's nothing that can go wrong as you buy it from Mac, and it just kind of works. And that's kind of the comfort of sticking with Apple, right? Definitely a lot of improvements for Windows 10. And I do like Windows 10. I do have a Surface Pro that I sketch in. I don't do any ZBrush in it, just because I work with so many hotkeys and ZBrush. So notice that I'm doing I turn my model constantly. This is part of my OCD, but it's also I constantly am trying to find the rhythm and flow of it, because it can't just look good from one angle. It can't just look good from this angle. It's got to look good from every angle. So the rhythm and flow is more than just one view. It's, you know, this is something that we learned pretty heavily at Disney Interactive, was to get that rhythm and flow at every single angle, and it's difficult, but makes things look pretty. Yeah, I'm guessing it is like ZBrush, Dylan, that once I get a hang of it, I mean, that's why the reason why I'm building my 3D printer, I got the kit instead of the pre-built one, is so I could learn what it's doing. We're gonna bring this up a little bit. The one thing that bugs me about Windows 10, so I use it with my Surface, is that they push updates all the time, and you have no control over saying no or yes. They just do it, and it bugs the crap out of me. So like, I'll be in the middle of something, and I'll be like, okay, we're turning off your computer. Buckle up, I guess. And I hate that. Like, I don't want that. Vista of the future. Anyways, I've also come to the point in my life that, like, a Mac person or a Windows person, like, it doesn't really matter anymore. Like, you meet these diehard fans like, oh, you've got a Windows phone or an Android, like, you're an idiot. Like, I think people could be happy in either one. So this is going to be kind of fun. This is a different... I have an idea of, like, putting his mouth open, but knowing what kind of printers these are going to be printed on, I'm not going to do that right now, but I am going to build it in a way that that they are separate. One, because the end result will come out cleaner. Like the sculpting itself, whether it's printed high res or not, this edge that I'm going to put in there is going to be a lot cleaner. And two, it does give me the option of, like, if I want to open this mouth, I can. Here, I'm going to do it this way. Do a quick save. How do I duplicate the transpose tool for the eye? Let's go back to, so with having one selected, like if there's multiple or just one, so mask it out, use your transpose tool, hold control, and just drag it out. It will automatically mask the others. And if you want to duplicate that, let's say you have like a whole row of things, just, oh, I guess I moved it, never mind, let's try it. If you do one move and then hit one, it will automatically repeat that last action. So if you're trying to create like a cool pattern or something and want to just duplicate the mesh really quick in a unified version, Just hit 1 after you do Control and drag with the Move Transpose tool. Okay, duplicate this. And I'm going to use the Slice tool for this. Ooh, there's lots of comments. This is the link to eBay Computer. You have bottom parts. You have hundreds. Okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to save this link. Oh. And I'm also like, I figure like if I'm gonna buy a PC, I want it to be like the man PC, like the friggin' bomb. So I want like 64 gigs of RAM, 2 NVIDIA 1080 cards, and lots of cores. What is this? The Dell Precision Precision. What? How'd you do that, Artist Future? That's what I want. Artist Future, I want that machine for that price. What's my display? My display is just the Cintiq, the 27-inch Cintiq. And then I have a really crappy secondary monitor that's like this Samsung that's like 1 billion years old that probably shows at 4 megapixels. Okay, I'm going to use this trim tool to... Actually, let's do the Slice tool. No. Yeah, no, yeah, Slice tool. Let's use the Slice tool. Slice tool, slice curve. And we're going to slice this guy up in a very multiple divisions. Okay, slice it up this way. This just puts in new polygroups and cuts it perfectly, so there's a nice clean line. And so now I can actually just go grab this, grab the sections that I want to keep together and make them one polygroup. Do the same with this section. Oh, I want that. Okay. And now I'm going to do a Dynamesh. Really, really low Dynamesh. Turn groups on. And this is going to make Dynamesh it with new groups. Let's see what this does. Okay. And I'm going to do an auto group after I Dynamesh because it actually will do a couple new groups. That's kind of it. Let's do it slightly higher. I want it a little bit cleaner than that. Dynamesh. Turn on groups. Let's see. Cyberpower. I'm just gonna dock all these links that you guys send me. Hey, it's my hermano. Hey, Cutter Pillow. What are you doing? You missed the kids. They were on just a second ago. We were just dogging PC, or we were just dogging Max, DJ. But let's not get into an argument about Mac versus PC here. This is a friendly discussion. Let's see, I'm just catching up on some comments here. So anyways, I just told DJ he's the one who got us all into Cutter Pillow here. He's a good guy. Be nice to him, guys. He's my brother, and he's the one who got us all in, our family all into Max. So after you Dynamesh this together, you're gonna see that it like makes this really weird jaggedy thing. And we can clean that up. But first, because we have groups on, we have to do an auto group because it will make weird geometry or weird polygroups in there, and then Dynamesh it again, and then you're going to get this really clean line. See this? So you've got your upper jaw and your bottom jaw. And with Polymove, I can now start like get that body back in there. Turn off these extra heads. And with Dell. Da-da-da. Oh, cool. Do I use the lasso cut tool to select the mask parts? The lasso cut tool to select? No? To select the mask parts? No, I use the mask or the lasso, the slice cut tool to I use that to cut up the parts the way that I wanted, and then I just polygrouped everything together so I could Dynamesh things the way I want. Let's pull out this guy's cheeks now. So you're starting to get some shape, like kind of fun to see what happens. And I switch between I'll switch between these the move tool and the move topology tool. Like the difference is like the move tool, you will move everything that's there. The move topo tool, you just move whatever group you're touching, like the individual mesh itself. So to do stuff like this where I want to thin out this top jaw, real easy, you know, pull some stuff back. And then I can, you know, work on the gesture of that face a little bit. Ah, yes. I think I know what you're talking about, Zomax. Yes, that's what the topological thing is for. I think it took me forever to figure out how to do it, or what its purpose was for. And it may have been a Joseph Drust tutorial that I watched. I mean, like, I learned ZBrush. I mean, apart from the school that I went to, but like the real education of ZBrush was really, like, I think I watched Michael Pavlovich's hard surface tutorials, which are awesome. Still to this day are like some of the best hard surface tutorials money can buy. And Joseph Drust stuff, I've always watched all of his tutorials that he has because he's got a really calming voice and teaches things really well. And then just kind of figured out my own path after, you know, once you've kind of figured out what you like and what you don't like. Hey! So again, I don't normally sculpt this way with symmetry turned off and posing from the get-go. This is again something that I'm just trying out, and it's actually kind of fun so far. So this isn't for speed. Again, I'm not a speed sculptor like everyone else on the stream are speed sculptors, and they're awesome. Excited to see Dan's Danny Mac's stream tomorrow. He's excellent. His latest like streams that he's been putting together for his speed sculpts have been killer. So cool. Yeah, Michael's great at teaching. He's got, and even like his new Gumroad stuff that he's put out is like really, really great stuff. And that's another thing, like, I still to this day watch a ton of tutorials. I don't know, like I don't know if I'll get to the point where I'm like, oh, I feel comfortable with what I know. I think I'll always be watching tutorials because, or even these streams. Like I've been watching all these streams this week too, and they're so informative and like, oh, I've never thought about doing something like that way, or like, you know, the way people understand how they translate anatomy to understand it, like Michael did a couple days ago, or was it yesterday? Like just that technique of like filling in the écrochet of the skeleton and while making your characters was really cool. You know, and though I primarily do stylized characters, like all that anatomy stuff, I still am studying every single day. Like I do figure drawing for 20 minutes every single day, at least 20 minutes every day. Yes, 2 days ago. I have no concept of time. So again, this is like that cut brush, the J cut brush. That's just beauty. It does. It quickly just makes really great planes. Right now, I'm just trying to get some really rough like ideas of what the flow is going to be. Not necessarily. Ooh, that's kind of. Maybe putting that out, just open a little bit. Though that'll never print. Ugh. So anyways, I watch tutorials all the time and still learn and still strive for new things, and to get myself out of my comfort zone of what I've been doing. Like to get into chair, they had me do an art test of like a realistic soldier and a realistic likeness, and there was something that I had done to on my own to teach myself, but never like trying to hit like a professional quality level before, you know, speed sculpts that I don't do, but studies of that. And so to learn how to do a likeness study actually was like awesome, because I learned some really cool techniques that I'd never tried before, and the 2D principles that I've always, you know, been studying for years. Still, I use those. Like here, let's pull this up. I want to talk about this for a second, just a second. Let's get out of full screen mode so I can show this. I don't know. Can you load brushes? I've never tried the core. Can you load brushes? What's the best way to get the cut brush? You can get, you know what? On my Gumroad, which is on the link below, Gumroad/Redbeard, I have a free tutorial. If you don't want to buy my tutorials, that's fine. I don't care. Like I want you to anyways, do what you want. I do put a lot of effort in my tutorials, but I think there's a free tutorial on like a basic instruction of how I teach beginners how to make heads. And I think I have all my brushes that I use in that. Oh, it only has 30 brushes. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't tried the core out. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about. So I did this likeness. I don't know if I could even. Let's see if I can find. Let's see if I can find the likeness. This is so funny. No, ZBrush. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. So the reference they gave me, I'm gonna find it, was this right here. Oh, this is great. Maybe I could put the brushes up on ArtStation. Anyways, this was the reference they gave me. Where did I? Okay. And it's really small. There's one angle and that's it. And so they said, make the, do the whole, get the likeness, which I've never done before. But it was fun to not only try to hit this likeness, but to start putting in some of the 3D, like the 2D principles of character design, even in this. Because, like, yeah, this guy's trying to hit the likeness, but I wanted to still try to push who this character was. He was supposed to be a soldier, so everything is a little bit more. He's a triangle. He's a little bit more active, athletic. So I tried to hit these triangle points. You see them here. They're very, very subtly in here, but they're there to still have the core of this be founded in character design. Even though it's a likeness, and even though I'm trying to hit something, I still want a message to come across in that. Anyways, that's what I'm trying. That's what I at least try to do with what I'm, this stuff here is I try to have there be a foundation of like shape language, rhythm and flow, story. Who is the character besides, oh, they kind of look cool. Sometimes it's just forgotten. That some of that stuff is forgotten about, especially with more realistic designs. And you can tell who understands character designs, even when they're doing realistic stuff, because their stuff is just crazy, crazy awesome. And people who their stuff looks really good, but there's just something that's not there. Nice. Okay, if I don't have, I'll check the Gumroad files, and if those brushes aren't, or if my brushes that I use aren't up there, then I'll put them up there, because I don't sell brushes, because I don't make brushes. So, and the brushes that I use I all got for free, except for the Dylan Eckren hairbrush, which he gives away for free, but I'd rather refer people to his site than to add it as part of one of my downloads. So go to his Gumroad and you could get that, and that hairbrush is killer. Woo! It's great. The JC, I don't know how the Jack Cut brush is awesome. It is so good. your ArtStation stuff rendered in ZBrush or Keyshot? Most of the stuff, well, I think there's most of the new stuff is all rendered in Keyshot. I want it to look as good as possible, and Keyshot's awesome for that. Especially like learning a few lighting techniques and material techniques. You can get your stuff looking really, really good fairly easily. Where's that? Well, there to be this shape language in here that he's got these harsh edges to him, so he's a little bit more dynamic. And then his muzzle to roll up. So Keyshot, is it worth the price? 100% yes. I love Keyshot. Now thanks, Brendan. I stay low res forever. It's sometimes my downfall, but especially because I'm not a speed sculptor. But yeah. No, I haven't tried Marmoset Tool Bag. I've heard great things about Marmoset, and I've actually seen some great renders out of it too. The cool stuff with Keyshot is it's just like you cannot make something look bad in Keyshot. You know, it's almost harder to make something look bad in Keyshot than it is to make something look good. And, you know, watch a few videos on their lighting and like how to plus what their own lighting, and you can take yourself to the next level real quick. Do I use polypaint or do I texture with some? You know, I haven't even tried Substance Painter. I've wanted to. I just haven't had really any opportunity to do it. So I just straight polypaint. I learned some techniques from a guy, Adam Fisher. Does anybody know who Adam Fisher is? Look him up on ArtStation. He's awesome. He's really good. I think he's an artist out of New Zealand. There's a few artists that I started following like right when I got into 3D or to ZBrush. One's Adam Fisher, and then one is Duncan Fraser. Both incredible artists, like super great. And Adam Fisher had a couple of videos on polypainting like realistic skin on YouTube for free, and those were just so good. So I used those, and kind of applied it to my technique of painting, you know, stylized characters, but still having some semblance of life to them. Yeah, and they might be like, those guys at Disney featured are crazy awesome. I wish I could share some of the stuff, like some of the cool things that we're doing on my new project, but can't. Should, but short. That's probably as far as I want to go. Now let's get that expression just a little bit better. I mean, there's no detail here, but Oh, the Keyshot Enterprise. Yeah. So there's two versions of Keyshot. There is the real Keyshot that you can buy, which is $4,000. And then there's Keyshot for ZBrush, which is what I have, which is $200. And that I could do $200 for Keyshot. So Keyshot, and you know they update quite a bit, and they have a really good community that makes new materials, and they have great. The best thing about Keyshot is they have an excellent schedule to release tutorials on how to get better renders, and they post them a ton. They post so many tutorials, it's like hard to keep up with almost. So I think I do want to get into Surface Painter, and I might try doing that as we're working on a lot more detailed characters at Share. So I've taught myself lately Marvelous Designer, which has been a lot of fun. You know, got to work on making more skills. His gullet needs to be gone. It'll be part of this. Yeah, and 3D Studio Max has always been like awesome to render, but you know what the problem with 3D Studio Max is, Rebecca, is that it's not compatible with Maya or with Mac. There's no Mac version of 3D Studio Max, which is another reason I think I'm bailing ship. Not to get 3D Studio Max, but there's just more options out there for killer software that isn't available on Mac, and they actually are just like tightening that threshold down. I would consider Quixel. Quixel looks really cool, actually. Again, it's like right now it's fun to do what I know, but I'm doing that. I'm teaching myself. There's a couple of hair softwares that I'm going in, and I'm totally blanking on the names now, but I've just started to do some demos with those, like to learn actual grooming hair, which has been really fun to do because I hate fiber mesh. Sorry, Pixelogic. It is good, and you can do some really cool things with it, but it is not fun to use. Soft Image. I work with a guy who still swears by Soft Image or Soft Image. What is the proper way to pronounce that? But that's what the guy that works says. There's a guy at work and he keeps pronouncing it Soft Image, and I feel like if I say Soft Image, which I want to say, he's gonna get mad at me. I'm the new guy. Give him a little bump for the back of his head. That's probably as far. Let's square up that thing. So I'm still not too worried about some of this stuff looking like poop. as this is just one of many steps. Okay, that's probably as far as I want to take the face. I don't want to put too much detail in it. Let's start working out this body a little bit more. And I say we because we're a family, guys. We're a family. Why would I pay $2,000 just to render? I wouldn't, but I would pay $200 just to render because it's so easy. Ooh, I want to show you guys something that I can't. Oh, I want to show you guys something that I can't. I won't. I just did this render in Keyshot, and if you saw the render, you would be like, oh, well, that's why people use Keyshot. It would pay $200 for it. Because, I mean, it is... I don't think for someone who doesn't who doesn't deal a lot with, like, node-based stuff, is as close to cinematic as I think I could possibly get. And it's got the feeling and life that I like, and all that fun stuff. Will I Jedi wave? What am I Jedi waving about? Go to Keyshot. Keyshot is great. Oh, is that because I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi? Ah, yes, the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Credit. A semblance of a crease in there. If any of you guys have done my tutorials, I apologize.
Thank you.
And thank you. More than anything, I thank you. Yeah, I really like doing the tutorials, like more than I thought I ever would. But you kind of know that I'm a stickler for, like, I don't go up in polys until, like, the silhouette is exactly how I want it. So it's kind of frustrating at times for me because I'm like, wouldn't this look better if I just... But then, no. Keyshot 7 is coming. It's awesome. Ooh, and RenderMan is free, and RenderMan is actually what I'm doing next. Like I'm gonna try to teach myself some RenderMan, as that's another top secret project that you guys can't hear about. Ooh, let's fix that. And I work with perspective off a ton, probably more than I should. Oh yeah, Bert. Well, you gotta ask. You gotta be nice about it. Bert, you're gonna have it on your desk tomorrow, but not really on your desk, but maybe like in your inbox folder, because it doesn't really physically exist. Bert Lewis is great, by the way. He's one of the artists that I work with. He's freaking awesome. Bert he's the only guy in the office that will talk conspiracy theory with me. And I'm really heavily into some really great conspiracy theory. um, one of the reasons we're doing this is because I just watched a documentary about the reptile people and figured I bet they like skateboarding. My wife is just muttering, "Shut up, Matt! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!" She's in the background over here. Say hi to the fine people, wife.
Hey.
This is my wife, Carla.
What's up?
You've almost met the whole family tonight. The little one is just sleeping. Ancient aliens! Ancient aliens! Yes! Any future Gumroad tutorials coming? Yes. I've got some plans for a few different tutorials. Nothing's gonna be as big as the one I just made. That one killed me. Like, it included everything. So I've got some plans for some different stuff that I haven't taught yet. And so I've got, I'll start filming next month for them, as this month has just kind of gotten away from me with all these different projects that have kind of creeped up. So one will probably be about 3D printing, as somehow I've become to know lots and lots about 3D printing. And once my printer gets here, it just seems like a fun thing to do. So I really want to exaggerate. Like, you guys ever seen a gecko's tail, how it goes skinny and then really fat? I love that idea. I don't know if it goes super well with a crocodile. It kind of does. But I really like that idea that he's got this heavy tail that's still on the ground, but it's actually going to be completely supporting him up. Actually, this is fun fact. This here, this is kind of in the same vein of this, actually. This is kind of where I got a little bit of inspiration. This was one of the first 3D contests that I entered back when I was starting as a game artist. It's this clumsy, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's like a clumsy dragon that I entered. It was for Thingiverse. I ended up getting second place, but they still printed it and sent it out to me, which is cool. Which I was like, oh, 3D printing's great. And this was years ago. This is like 5 years ago that happened. And then I just got into 3D printing when we were at Disney, as we were doing Disney Infinity figures all the time. So it was just kind of happenstance that happened. The Chroma, I bought a Prusa i3 printer, which is a filament printer. A filament printer, and should be here in 6 weeks. So start the countdown. Hello, they say hi, Carla. Hi, wife.
Hey.
Hey. She's one of them. Yes, Bert, I have my theories that Carla is one of the reptile people watching closely. Okay, that might be okay for the body right now. Let's bulk out this area just slightly. You gotta keep in mind, like, how am I gonna fake this? Hopefully it works. I don't know if it will until we print it, so we're gonna have to print it. You don't drink water when working. I normally do.
I was gonna say, are you thirsty? You're talking
I'm actually gonna take a break in 5 minutes to drink some water, and I'm gonna get those books that I was talking about. I think they're up in my room on my nightstand. and then maybe I can try to answer some. If you guys have questions, I'll just sit down and do a Q&A for a little bit. And if you don't, then I'll just go back to Sculpting and just say, shut up, Matt. This isn't what you're paid for. I'm not getting paid for this anyways. Oh, and then we're best friends again, and we high five, and I don't know where I'm going with this. My wife is just cringing over here. She's like, just stop talking. Hey, the Illuminati! The Illuminati! I watched a great. Oh man, there's some. I'm not gonna start talking about the conspiracies, but there's some great stuff on that. They sculpt a UFO with a funny-looking man. I do. I just drink magnificent man juice. Denver Airport Conspiracy. I think I watched something on this today, actually. What is the Denver Airport Conspiracy? Oh, this is down a rabbit hole. See, this part is dangerous because I'm doing this all streaming, and I know that they're watching. This is how weird I am. I'm going to talk. Okay, I'm not going to read this about the Denver Airport Conspiracy, but this is how deep I am into conspiracies. That when I'm not streaming, I put I put a cloth over my camera because I don't believe that someone's not going to turn it on when I don't want to and start snooping around. Anyways, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to show you my tinfoil hat either. Anyways. Yes. She is. She's a lizard person. She's one of the nice ones. And she's protecting me from the greys. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. It's gotten out of control. Let's keep going. So the fun part is finding this, like where those forearm muscles are. It's going to be slightly different. I mean, this is an anamorphic character, so the anatomy is not going to be completely true to an actual crocodile, but we do want to have some resemblance of real crocodile anatomy, because that's what makes it real, right? And then we find ways to cheat. We find just ways to cheat that anatomy, to bring it back to something more human relatable, and that's where the appeal comes in. Is like bridging that gap between design and realism and design. Ooh, what is this? Relax, stream. They're watching. I know. If it helps me get in my groove. Literally, when I'm at work and I'm watching or listening to conspiracy videos, and they're all great. They're all very real. I think I'm at least on the point where I'm watching them for entertainment, not because I'm like, oh, this is so real. Though some of it is so real, but it's more for entertainment. And like, oh, that's very coincidental, ain't it? And then I go over to Bert and I say, hey, Bert, want to hear about the Inner Earth Society? And he's like, oh, I know about that. And so we have great discussions, and that's why I love Bert. And he's an awesome artist. So Double win, Bert. Not my phone cams. Oh, I lay my phone face down. Oh, it's still got the camera on the back. See, this is how they get you. Okay, I'm gonna take a 5-minute break. I'm gonna be back. Let's give you a nice. Gonna give you a nice little screen here to look at. Oh, it's so good. Conspiracy theory rants are the best. Look how slow this computer is. It takes 7 minutes to open up Photoshop. Still not open. Okay. Oh my god. Be right back. The X files are also great. Cameras everywhere. Where can you see my reel? I don't have a reel per se. I'm gonna actually go. I'm not going anywhere. Anyways, you can just go to my art station. I don't have a reel. That's something that I'll eventually have, but go to ArtStation or go to theredbeard.net. I don't have .com because some guy bought it many years ago and has never used it. Theredbeard.com. Don't go there. Go to theredbeard.net. Okay, I'll be right back. 5 minutes. Min. You can watch my chair. Yes. I'm back for 2 seconds. Okay, and I'm back. Got my protection on, so we can continue the stream in privacy. Let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, thanks Pixelogic. Let's call out Pixelogic for putting this all together. There's just been some amazing, awesome talents. But I can't take myself seriously with this one. Thanks Pixelogic for putting this all together. This is awesome. One of my favorite events of the year is the ZBrush Summit, and this is like non-stop ZBrush Summit, so pretty rad. Okay. So now that I've been focusing like way too much on the head, like I see things around. Anyways, conspiracies are fun. And I like to have fun. You look at like the rhythm and flow of a crocodile, it's got great rhythm and flow. I couldn't find the Tom Bancroft books. We'll have to find those as we're doing mass construction in our house. But this book I'm going to highly recommend, by Samantha, I can't say her last name, Youssef. It's an anatomy book about, it teaches a different way figure drawing and anatomy. But the way that she talks about rhythm and flow and gesture and her book is awesome. It's really well put together. Lots of pictures. Can you see this? No one can see this. Lots of pictures. Lots of really well detailed explanations. She's an excellent artist. I do recommend this book. Anyways. Okay. Back to this. Question: who was Batman? That's probably Joseph Drust, Joseph Drust is Batman because he hides his calm demeanor, and then he busts out awesomeness with you all the time. What's that book? Let me see if I can find the link for it. It's called Movement and Flow. Oh, Movement and Form, sorry. By Samantha Youssef. She's got a couple other books coming out. One's about drawing more in action, and she's really talented. Like, and the way she explains things are great. So. Yes, we do need a Joseph Drust Kappa face. So I want there to be like specific areas of weight. So you'll see me kind of move things around a couple of times because I want the weight when you're doing such like a static pose like this, that you want it to feel dynamic. Back to the alien talk. No, my wife told me no more. JK. When you're doing like a static character like this, it's so important to like not just make a pose, but to have weight behind everything. So like this curve right here, the arc is down below instead of right here in the gut, which is where I have it. Like it's the weight is being pulled right here on the rest of it. You know, there's weight right here because it was stagnant, and then it's being pulled up. So this part is getting squished in and stretched. I guess it's getting stretched, and this is still being squashed. Like you can see the squash, right? And the curve is anchored here. Move around this head just a little more. These are going to get funky. Because I want to look at this not just as pieces, but as how the whole relates to the small and how the small relates to the big. What's the saying? How the small relates to the big and how the big relates to the whole. Zach Petrock said that. He's a Disney feature. I think he's over the character team. Incredible stuff. Matt, you mentioned daily figure drawing. What do I use for reference? I go to a site called quickposes.com. This is a great site for reference. This is when I don't have time to draw life. Like I used to ride the train every day, so I used to actually draw real life people, and that was super beneficial. And then I would do this when I got to work. So I recommend doing some life drawing and then some reference drawing because your eyes adapt to being able to read shapes quicker when you do live reference drawings. But quickposes.com is great. You can set how much time you want for each pose. So you can have like a warm up of like a 30-second sketch and then build up to, maybe a 1 or 2 minute sketch. And so I do that for about 20 minutes. I try to do it at least 20 minutes each day. Sometimes I have more, sometimes it depends on how busy it is, but I try to at least have more time than less time in it. Move these eyes back a little bit. I'm kind of losing like the fun that he has, so bring some of that. Kind of like that he's got a little bit more edge, and that I'm trying to stay away. Things that I think about is I'm trying to stay. Yes, there you go, Bert. Thank you. I'm trying to stay away from parallels. So right now, this thickness right here is all the same thickness, and these two thicknesses. So I rather give it more interest, is pull this up so it's thinner here and thicker here, and it gives it a little bit more extremeness to it. Staying away from parallels, it's going to be slight. It's not going to be super extreme, but I think it'll read really well. Okay. I think I've actually tried that one too. The cube brush, that thingy. Oh no, I haven't tried that. That's new. Okay. We'll have to check that one out. I mean, there's a few different sites. There's like Pixel Lovely and Daily Sketch Daily, which is one that I've used for a while. This one seems nice, like just run by one dude that kind of he seems to have a greater variety of pictures than most. Like they all have the same like 20 pictures, and they probably have like the same 30 pictures. No, let's figure this out. They probably have like the same, 300 pictures, all of them. And there's this one skinny kid with weird hair. There's the one girl that's in like a weird cat suit. There's, there's a variety. But the one at Quick Poses, he seems to update it a lot more with different pictures, which is kind of nice. Hey, thanks, Pixelogic. Anyways, do you guys have any questions for me? Like, any besides conspiracy videos? That could be on my own personal Twitch, so I'll just go off on conspiracy. Like, I kind of believe that Paul Gaboury is in charge of the in charge of the what is it, the Bohemian Grove. Anyone knows that reference? Oh, you need to go to sleep. I'm just kidding. Paul's too good of a person to be in charge of the Bohemian Grove. He might be in charge of like the party aspect of it. Oh, my wife wants to know if you guys have any questions about, art. Let's bust out some thingies. When you do more realistic pieces, do you use this workflow? Yes, I actually I use the same workflow that I use for my characters. I probably don't use this exact workflow, as this is a lot big shapes, but let me find it. So the way that I make my human heads, I'm gonna post this link. Let's see if I can. Like the ZSphere to base mesh is basically where is it? This is basically the way that I build up things. I go really, really slow. I block out the pieces, and then so this is following this. This is on my Gumroad. This is the free tutorial that I have that kind of shows a little bit of my teaching style. But building up from this, where I can have all the landmarks, I can block out the facial planes, I can, from the get-go, work on silhouette and not worry about the details, because the details really don't come in until the last 90%, and that 90% takes forever. But that last 10%, I should say. But it's very similar to what I do. Is slow build up until I'm satisfied with the simple shapes. Do I use ZBrush for clothes as well? I do. I've done some stuff with Marvelous Designer, which is a lot of fun. And actually like got some really great results from it. But I end up just, because some of the things are just quicker in ZBrush, like it was just fine to not to just do it in ZBrush, you know, just mask it out. Mask it out, and then kind of sculpt in the fabric. I have this really weird thing about myself that if I use a program to do something like the folds of the fabric, and get really cool results, you know, I feel like I'm cheating because I don't know why it's doing that. So there's like I still use it, but I feel like it's better to first learn why it's folding this way, why there are tension folds or diaper folds or things like that. So then when I do use a program like Marvelous Designer for fabric, I understand why things are doing it that way. And if I need to modify it in ZBrush, because ZBrush is awesome and it's, you know, really organic, then I can kind of change what the dynamics have given me into something that I want. That makes sense? Have you ever done any pieces on Randy Bishop's art? Oh, I love Randy Bishop. He's got the best ties. I think I did do one long time ago on one of Randy Bishop's dudes. Let's find it. And it looks, I think I actually deleted it from my ArtStation. Let's see, maybe I didn't. Because it just, yeah, I deleted it from my ArtStation. I did one from Randy Bishop long time ago when I was at React Games, and it looked fine. I thought it was cool when I did it, but in all reality, like, it sucked, and it just wasn't plussing my portfolio at all, and so I didn't do it. But like, his designs are great. I've worked with Randy a little bit on when he was doing his Kickstarter, you know, kind of gave him some consult. I didn't ever do any 3D work for him, but I talked with him about kind of what he was doing, and he's got some great ideas, and you know, he's a super nice guy, super mellow, good dude. Your top 5 ZBrush brushes. Ah, yes, this is a hard one. Okay. The Move brush. I use the Move brush more than I use any sculpting brush. The Move brush is what I use. That's number 1. Number 2, probably the Jack Cut brush. A. Number 3, I would probably say, is the clay buildup brush. Number 4, I don't use fancy brushes at all. You know, I use ZBrush tricks most of the time, but like, I feel I know what I can do with these brushes. Like, I know exactly the purposes of them, how I use them. So that's it. Like, I don't use any fancy brushes. The Move brush and maybe the standard brush is number 5, right? Real. And I use the standard brush for painting. So right now, just kind of whipping out some fingers, and just first I'm going to get them in position, you know, so they're not all following the same line, and I'll probably end up actually changing these a little bit to fit better with the crocodiles and and I might actually change this so they're kind of all touching for printing. You should also look into getting ZBrush on this stream. What? You should. Oh, but yeah, they should look into getting. Not that wasn't at me. Okay, yes. Agreed. Let's save this manually. Yeah, I mean, there's no problem with using a lot of brushes. Like, I just have become stubborn and comfortable in my own ways of this. So I just use these brushes. A lot of move tools because mainly I'm not sculpting until I get. Oops. Mainly I'm not sculpting until I get the silhouette where I want it, and so I'm just really focusing on the move brush. Because I'm working in such low polys, like these are the finger details, and like there's really nothing to them. You know, it's little anatomy things like this. Like you want all these to kind of point to this center. I don't know if that's crocodile anatomy or not, but it'll work for this characterized character. Let's see. Heads up for chat. He's an expert. Oh yeah. Hey, thanks for coming by. Wade Geek, is that how you say it? I don't know. But thanks for coming by. Here. Hello, Crystal Wolf Cookie. I love cookies. Group. hands are some of like the funnest part of a character. You can get like a well positioned hand. It adds like a billion. It adds so much character to your characters. Ha 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 ha. Matt, any recommendations for brushes starting out? The brushes that I would say starting out is really you get used to doing for sculpting. Get used to using the clay buildup or clay tubes, and sculpt a lot. Sculpt. There's what I used to do when I first learned ZBrush is I had this. Oh, I do have this in the school up here. My skull. Remember my skull? Anyways, house is in disarray. I had this skull, this toy. It was a Halloween decoration, but it was a fairly accurate skull. And what I would do before, this is when I was in school, before I would start on our assignments or anything, because we had about an hour to warm up, which was awesome, is I would take that skull and I would take 20 minutes and sculpt it as far as I could in that 20 minutes. I'd start out with this just as simple as you can get. I think it was like a 64 poly mesh when I started, and slowly build it up only using the clay brush or the clay tubes and the move tool. And I did that over and over and over. And I didn't try to stylize the skull. I didn't try to do any stuff to make it like other than exactly what I was seeing. And I found out that this helped me, one, get out of my comfort zone and push myself to hit something that was hard, you know. And two, it forced me to not compromise. Because if I made a stylized skull, then I could say anything looks stylized. But how do you know something looks stylized when you don't know what something really looks like? And so I've got folders of skulls every single day, sculpting 20, 30 skulls in a month. And sometimes I would get really far and sometimes I wouldn't. That's when I was doing speed sculpting more often. But it helped. And just doing that to learn, to get familiar with ZBrush's interface, it helped a ton it just helped a ton to get familiar with it really, really quick. Got to have some like squash, some squash in his hand as it's curling back. It's not going to be flat. It's going to have this kind of tension there, so it can accidentally kind of have it on both sides there. Probably not the other side. Big fan. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Rex Monster. The Disney Infinity Figs, yes. And the tutorials. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, that's another thing that I do recommend doing is try to sculpt other people's concepts to a T. Especially when you're like looking to get a job in the industry. Being able to show that you can hit someone else's style is so appealing to studios that more so than something that looks really cool. Nice. GameStop. I went out recently and like tried to find a bunch of because they were all on sale. Everyone was selling them for super cheap, and so I went out and like tried to buy them when we were in California, and nobody had them anymore. Like, got super sad. I was like, no, I've missed my opportunity to buy my own stuff. Because obviously we have kids, and playing Disney Infinity to them was actually picking up the toys and playing with them. Because one, we didn't have anything to play it on. I didn't have a game console until mid last year. So they never played it. Like, I would test it at work when we were building the game, but my kids never played it actually. Who worked on Spider-Gwen? She was awesome. Oh man, that was Brad Bolender. I don't know. Did they ever leak anything on that? Brad was one of my favorite artists there. Just because he was the nicest, most genuine dude, and he was an incredible, incredible sculptor. But he sculpted Spider-Gwen, and she looked so good. Oh my gosh, she looked so good. But unfortunately, I think they killed her in mid-production, just like they did with Moana. This hand is going to be what I want. Oops. Yeah, thanks for coming by, Disc Jam. Actually, let's get this order. Look. Some twist that in a little bit. Oh, we'll get there. Next week we'll have the full skateboard in there and sculpt the details. This one will just be about getting the rhythm, flow, balance in there. Ooh, what is this? Oh, is this a leaked image of it? Oh, yes! Yeah, she looked so good. There are so many awesome characters that got cut right at the end. Yeah, Brad is amazing. I think Shane probably had like 2 or 3 characters that he had, right? That were all cut right at the end. That will never see the light of day. Just the saddest thing. They were all so cool. Why would they do such a thing? Probably because the angry letter that I sent to him. No. I don't know how much I can comment on that. I have my theories. But I think everyone kind of knows what that is. It had nothing to do with the game, let's just say that, or the characters. I think the game was actually, from the stats, it was still one of the most successful Toys to Life games. But Still costs money to make, I guess. Oh, yeah. Those are so cool. That Peter Pan looks so good. One of the Uncanny, are you talking about the Spider-Gwen? I'm guessing. I don't think we will. I mean, I would love to for someone who has the files get a Moana for me, because she was like my last character, and Shane knows more than anyone that like I put up such a fight to get Moana where she was, um, because people had different opinions that I didn't agree with, and so, anyways, it's good to have opinions. Yeah, I want Moana too. There was there's a girl that did all of our uh paint, like the test paintings, like the so she would do all the color hand painted prints. Her name's Mara, and she actually has in her possession a hand painted Mara or a hand painted Moana figure, and I will. I've talked with her several times about like how much do you want for it? Because it looks it's the one it's all circulated online, like the prototype. That's the one that she has, um, and she's like, I'm never letting this go, and so there goes my dreams as well. Oh man, yeah, hair looks sweet. That's a shame, Shane. That looks so good. Ooh, she was awesome, so good. I think I even tried to have her printed when everything was closing up, to have Moana printed, and it just never happened. Ooh, there, back in. Let's give him some feet finally. Save. I have autosave on, but I don't trust it all the time. Thanks, 3D printers. My outfit didn't go into this mode, just the flat mode. You can see really well some things, like I'm getting good. I'm getting good flats against curves. Um, Somewhere the weight's going in. I mean, the arms still need a lot of work, but overall the silhouette's reading really well. It feels like he's kind of coming off the ground, so something I do every now and then. Yeah, I don't want that either, Shane. To have, well, I didn't have any secret characters that weren't leaked. So, I saw Brian do it, and I was like, is this gonna be the end for all of us? Are they gonna make us take down everything because of that? So I hope Brian's okay because he posted his Rogue One character. But yeah, I completely feel you. Um, they were awesome. They were so cool. And Shane does need to get on the live stream. He's way too good not to. Plus, he's got a great hat, which I've always loved. I actually have a hat just like. Oh, he did pull it? Brian did pull it? I didn't see that. I remember seeing that, and I was fearful for him. Oh, it's still on there? Mm. Crocodiles. Long feet. Short, wide feet. Inflate. Oops. Yeah, isn't that sad? I know it's there's. I still feel like Disney could keep at least the designs alive because that style you don't see anywhere. Like the style, the Disney Infinity style that was created. You just nobody's doing anything like it, and especially in the figurines, like they're still awesome. They're still like the best stuff out there. And so I wonder, like, man, wouldn't it be cool if they just kept those as collectible figures? I mean, I can't imagine that they're not too expensive to make, and without a game attached to them, I still think they had appeal. Um, end up tweaking so more, so it can read more. And just so you guys know, this will not be printed in one piece. I'm planning on cutting it up. So if it does print on like a resin printer, or not a resin printer, like a filament printer, I can control how the pieces are placed. So I can print on the non-detailed side of things and have keys in there. Glue them to a new base. Awesome. Oh yeah, those are super cool. The elite ones, which will never be seen or never come to life. I'm still so mad that I never got. I wanted to have someone steal the Jack Skellington, but I thought it looked rad. Jane makes me cry too. Thank you, sir. They're mushy at the moment. Oh, how long does a character take? Well, I missed the question. How long does it take? Yeah, I think Shane's right. It's, depending on the character, it's about 2 to 4 weeks. And sometimes it's not so much on the character as when does manufacturing need it by. So a character that should normally take 4 weeks is done in 2 weeks or less. Like I mean, that just happened over and over and over. Like, oh, all of a sudden, manufacturing needs it by this time, and nobody knew that for some reason, and we need it now. And so that's what would happen. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to end right now. Huh. Thanks everyone for like joining me. Like this is awesome. I hope you've enjoyed me mush around small primitives. So next week we'll be going over like more details. I'll get the rest of the stuff in there so we're not blocking out primitives, and get the balance in, and so we can actually start talking about detail design, and how it relates to the overall design, and do lots of stuff. So thanks. Save my work. So thanks a ton. I'll probably jump on my own stream once, maybe to do this, maybe to do something else. So thanks for coming by, guys. You guys are awesome. Thanks for joining me with my ramblings of conspiracy and whatnot. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Squid Tank. Thanks, Rebecca, Christopher. Thanks. And thanks, Pixelogic, most of all. Yes, Artist Future, thanks for the recommend on the computer stuff. Ashley, thanks. Good night, everyone. Dylan. Falcons Industries. Oh, that's what it is. Haha. Very funny, Industries. CG Geek, awesome. Thanks, guys. Shane, you're the man. Bert, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll talk about more conspiracies. Rex, you guys are great. Thank you. We'll see you guys.